Today's market is growing to be more competitive each day. And in order for you to thrive in the game, you need to be more cutthroat than ever. Building and cultivating a brand is no joke. It takes a lot of time and a lot of hard work. But what if you got a guide in your hands, an entire booklet filled with the right questions to ask when building your brand? Hey guys, welcome to Creatitive. Here we use our passion for the game to change the game. Every week we talk about solutions that can truly change the business of sports. Today, we'll be discussing the role of brand discovery and why it matters as you build your brand. Revolutionize the game, and don't forget to tackle that subscribe button and that notification bell so you don't miss out on anything in the future. Let's be real. Everything's very competitive in today's market. It's not enough to just be different. Tons of companies claim the same things over and over again. So how do you actually differentiate yourself from your competition? Well, you need to build your brand. Now, one common mistake a lot of businesses commit is forgetting the existence of brand discovery, not following. Let's start with what brand discovery is. We look at brand discovery as the method used by companies to discover the very best branding strategies for their business. It's a multifaceted process that takes different forms. In brand discovery, you use the information you have on your market, your audience, and yourself to curate a brand and successfully position yourself in the game. Any venture or business that wants to use their brand as an essential part of their success needs to build a strong foundation. Once your discovery sessions are done, then you should start building a distinct identity for your brand that'll help you differentiate yourself from your competition. So let's talk about the trends of building a brand. Over the recent years, the term branding has become the marketing industry's new buzzword. But here's the thing, only a handful of people understand what it really means to build a brand. There's this ongoing trend wherein businesses use logo makers, Fiverr.com, etc. to create their logos and call that branding. When in reality, for a brand to survive the competitive nature of its industry, it needs something stronger than that. A brand should have a solid foundation that'll help them navigate through the changing of the seasons in their industry. It's why most branding experts suggest spending as much time on brand discovery. The discovery process will help them get a better idea of how they can position themselves in the market and in the mind of their fan base. So there's lots of moving parts within brand discovery. Generally, if you were to create a discovery guide to use for your sessions, there should be 5 sections: an identity analysis, a marketing analysis, an audience analysis, assessment, and then you build the brand strategy. Let's dive into what a brand identity analysis is. First thing we need to do is discover ourselves. What are our goals? What do you want to achieve in the coming years? What are the values and the desires that drive your business to do what it does? Deconstruct simply what your business stands for and its goals. Some of the questions that you could ask yourself during these sessions or with your team are, what are your core values? What do you want to offer this fan base? And what do you want to achieve as a business. Once you have explored the ideas of your brand in that analysis, start exploring what makes it different from its competitors. Reflect what makes you different from your opponents. How can you convince your people that your offerings are better than your competition? Ask yourself, what promise you want to make to your target market? And how does your brand communicate this to your current customer now? A competitor analysis. Now, this can come in many forms. You can do brand archetype development, you can focus on social media audit, you can focus on SEO, PPC analysis. But in short, how can you position yourself in the game, meaning knowing what the play actually looks like? You need to know who your opponents are and how they're outsmarting you in the market. Conducting these competitive analysis will give you a better idea of who your opponents are, what they're doing differently, what are their strengths, what are their weaknesses. It'll help you identify and develop a strategy in the future on how you can differentiate yourself from them and how you can leverage their weakness to your advantage. Keep in mind that the point of brand discovery is to help you get to know yourself and the existing market, thereby giving you a better idea of how you can brand yourself. So here are some questions you can ask during this phase of brand discovery. Who are your main competitors? Where do our competitors outsmart us? What are some of the strategies our competitors are not using, and how can we leverage that to our advantage? So we kind of talked about this when we talked about a social media audit, but an audience analysis. Now that you know who your competitors are, you now have a better idea of how you can position yourself in the market. It's time to get to know your target audience. Again, we need to understand that the main goal of brand discovery is to help you understand your market and your audience. Once you've gotten an idea of the unique identity your brand will soon have and what the market looks at, it's time for you to dive into who your target market is. As of now, you already have at least some data on who your audience is, like their demographics. Now you need to dig a little bit deeper. You can identify and create fan profiles, an identity that must represent your market. The profiles should include both demographic and psychographics of your fan base or your market's behaviors. Here are some questions you could use during this discovery phase. So again, take a look at who are your customers. What are their main desires? How can we elevate their pain points? Where are they now? How are they engaging with your brand? Part of the process of brand discovery is unearthing the mistakes your company has made over the years. It means assessing your business's performance over the recent years and recognizing some of the failures as well as some of the mistakes you've made. Take some time to reflect which parts of your operations could have been better. How can you improve these areas in the future? While it's true that discovery is important to building a brand, providing better service is the prerequisite to cultivating one. Here are some questions that you could use to assess your business or personal brand and the way it operates. Where do our operations fail us? Which channels are working and which aren't? Why are some of our channels performing so badly? How can we improve our lead generation efforts? Be objective about self-assessment. Don't be defensive and let your company or your brand learn from its mistakes. Your future planning. This is where the strategy comes in. Some people think that once they've gotten a better idea of who they are and where they are in a business, the brand discovery process is done. But as we've mentioned earlier, the process is about discovering yourself and the potential opportunities you can explore by branding accordingly. So as part of the process, you need to envision where your company will be in the next year or two. How much will your industry change within these years? And how does your brand plan to face these challenges? Part of these discovery goals is to help you figure out your brand's future. How can they improve themselves, and what are the necessary steps they can take into doing so? So again, here are some questions you can use during these sessions to help discuss future plans. What's next for your industry and fan base in the market? How can we keep our branding strategy strong yet flexible to these changes? What can we do to survive through these changes? Branding is not an easy task. Things can get confusing and overwhelming when done alone. But thankfully, brand discovery is there to help you out. We hope you guys loved today's video. And if you want to learn more about the great solutions that can truly change the game, don't forget to tackle that subscribe button, give us a like, and hit that notification bell. Now this is Zach with Creatitive, where business is our sport.